Welcome to Gulfstream Park West, and welcome to the Gulfstream Park West Handicapping Show. It's Ron Nicoletti along with Pete AIELLO. It just keeps getting better and better, the weather. Today is really fantastic. You got something wrong with your neck there, pal, or you just don't want to look at me?
Both.
Both.
Both. I slept wrong a little bit yesterday, so I'll be making the subtle look over as opposed to the exaggerated
and rolling
look
your
over.
eyes at me when I say something, right?
Well.
So we got a fast main track at a firm turf course this afternoon, and as I mentioned, just a Chamber of Commerce day here in South Florida. And let's quickly go through the wagering menu so we can run through this card. And we're going to start it off each and every day when we have 7 horses or more with the rolling super high five. We've got a nice carryover building of over $1,800 in there. And Pete, you're going to have an early pick 5 ticket.
I am indeed. The 50-cent early pick 5 begins on race number 1. As you always like to say, Ronnie, the late pick 5, which we'll get to in a minute, is the last 5.
Yeah.
The early pick 5 is the first 5.
See how that works out? It's amazing. And the Rainbow Six now up there over $11,000. And with this 10 race sequence, it starts in race number 5 this afternoon, and like I said, a little over 11,000. And the final pick 5 of the afternoon is the last 5 races on the card, only that 50-cent wager.
I'm not a mathematical whiz, but I think that means it begins on race number 6 today, doesn't it?
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
See that?
There we go.
So we got that all straightened out. It's going to be a lot of fun to say. I don't know about the show, but the day is going to be a lot of fun. So the first race, 1 mile and 1/16th on the turf. Maiden claim is 3 and up. $10,000 the claiming level. No scratches in the race. And you have that early pick 5 ticket.
I'm going to go a little bit different with my structure here today. I'm going to give you a framework to play the early pick 5 at an affordable number. You could punch it exactly the way I have it there, but 2 potential singles in the sequence. We'll go 4 deep to start it off with Adversary coming in from Pimlico. Hope is Rising. Catch the Feeling coming in from Ellis. And I'm going to use Indigo Heart at a big number as well. We're going to single in the second race. This is not exactly a lock single, number 6, Shere Khan, but relative to everybody else, it was either go single or go 4 deep. Couldn't afford to go 4 deep. The solid single is in race number 3. You and I agree, Ronnie. Bahama Halo will have to beat herself in that race, I think, to lose. And then in the 4th race, we'll go 4 deep, 2, 4, 5, and 6. I don't like Unknown, not even a little bit in that race. Then in the 5th race, we'll stay 4 deep, 1, 7, 8, and 9. 5th race is tough. 1st race is tough. The interior races look a bit more formful to me.
Well, we do agree almost exactly, except for the 5th race. I got my single in there. We'll talk about that when we get to that race. But let's deal with the race number 1 this afternoon. As I mentioned, this one 1 mile 1/16th on the turf. Maiden claim is 3 and up, 10,000, no scratches. And I went with the number 4 in here. Pete, one of the horses you did use on your ticket, Catch the Feeling, is debuting locally and making his first start since finishing a bit of a trouble. He got bumped off stride. I didn't see the race. It was at Ellis Park during July. Dane Kabisky, here's a stat I want to show you on him with a layoff of 61 to 180 days on the turf. He's 7 for 28. That is 25%, 46% in the money with a $2.17 ROI. And I think that turf race at Ellis Park was good enough to run against these horses here at Gulfstream Park West.
It's tough to gauge. I did just notice something, though, that I didn't notice when I looked at this race yesterday. The 3rd place finisher in that race, Michael, I know something about that horse. That horse ended up coming back, going to Cincinnati and breaking his maiden at Belterra Park against a soft bunch. So Catch the Feeling will be interesting to see how does he fit against these horses. He is taking early money, though, and I really like to see that.
Well, you did go with the number 1 Adversary right on top of your ticket.
Yeah, our Adversary hasn't been seen since June, has never raced in South Florida, and has a string of workouts at Palm Meadows, including a decent workout of 102 and 3. I mean, listen, these aren't world beaters here. You're not expecting 48-second drills, but Alvarado Jr. has the call, and I think this horse will be offensive-minded in the early stages, especially with the inside gate. I'll try to get in front and stay in front for trainer Jason McCutcheon, who has won races in South Florida this year.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to watch a race from this horse. It was as simple as that. I did put him on my ticket in the first race, but in the bottom part of the ticket, guys, I went with the number 2, Hope is Rising in second, beating the neck on the Gulfstream turf at the 12.5 level. That was at 2 starts back. He's going back to the grass today. Showed some speed. He faded. Was a race, moved to a sealed, sloppy track last time out. I'm going on that performance 2 back, and I think he belongs somewhere on the ticket.
Well, let's take a look at the 6 horse here. I'm not actually taking a look at him. I don't want to confuse our controller, but the 6 horse Indigo Heart. This horse is going to be a big price. He's sitting up there 24-1 currently. He'll be about that at post time. This horse debuted on the turf at Tampa, finished a okay fifth, got beat a pretty long way. Then tried the dirt for 2 races. That's not what he wanted to do. Last time out, with his making his 4th start, he finished 4th behind all hundreds who came back to clear the non-winners of 2 level yesterday. It's a decent race. It was a decent run from this horse, and it'll be a huge price. Lionel Reyes takes over the call for trainer Laura Cazares. Laura won a stake race at Gulfstream Park at a big price as well. I think this horse has a look in a race that has more questions than answers.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you there. Not in the seed with all hundreds, of course, running yesterday and winning, and a pretty nice performance there. Went from last to first in that particular race. So a little bit of a long shot from Pete there in the first race. Interesting to see if they bet it down or not. So we're going to flip the page. You ready?
Yeah, flip the page to race number 2 at 6 furlongs. Claimers in at the $6,250 level. We should have a series called the Usual Suspect Series here in South Florida. A lot of these horses at this level will routinely run against each other. Such is the case here. Numbers 2, 3, 4, and 6 have all had some encounters with one another. Shere Khan is my top play in the race. Made a Gulfstream West debut last time out. Was a good second behind class-dropping Flashing Cat. That was going 5.5 furlongs. I think that's a bit too short for this horse. I like the outside draw here, and I think he is the one to beat.
Yeah, and a 7-time winner at the distance, and I'm looking at the board.
I think this is
the first time ever that I can remember all 4 horses in the exact same order. We went with number 3, Street Rage in second, stepping up to face open competition at this 3/4 of a mile distance we've been talking about. Perfectly timed late move last time out, produced that 8,000 condition claiming score, going 5 furlongs. That was on that sealed sloppy track. I think off that performance, and I agree with you. I think if you're going to put a single in the early pick 5, Shere Khan is one of the horses you really have to think about doing that, stretching out to its best distance. And I closed it out with the 4 Tailstone.
Yeah, Tailstone won last time out. Can he back it up? I'm not so sure. He lost to Carlin's Gem, and he was soundly defeated by Shere Khan earlier in the year. Street Rage is interesting to me. He's making his 3rd start in 23 days.
3rd start in 23 days. So we're in total agreement in race number 2.
Actually, that's not true. 15 days.
15 days. That's a big
8
difference.
plus 3 is 23.
8 plus 3 is 23?
I mean, 8 plus 15. Whatever.
Sounds like my addition there. Let's go to race number 3. This is a really nice betting race. 1 mile on the turf.
Get out of the
Forget that. Allowance optional claiming fillies, 2-year-olds, or the optional claiming price $75,000. Nice race. And Pete and I, you said before, we're both like Bahama Hello in here. Let's go back and show you this performance back on October 1st. It was in the R. Dear Peggy, and Bahama Hello is the number 3 that afternoon, and we're going to follow it from the top of the stretch to the wire. And this one was, you'll see it right here on the inside. It looks like this horse, and if you listen to the call, it's just, you're saying he's ready to go. He's making this move, and gets completely shut off at the 16 pole. You're going to see it here now. Just gets, was he making that move to win it there when he gets shut off and has to just drop back?
Could have been. I'm not going to say for sure, but could have been. I certainly. I thought of I remember that race now. It looked to me like the inside or the eventual winner came over more than the other horse came out. Then I remember watching the head on it was vice versa.
Right.
In any case, there was no change made. I know a couple other things about that. Pletcher was high on Bahama Halo going into that race. That turf course had a lot of give in the ground. We ran a lot of rain that day, so there are a lot of things to think that Bahama Halo will improve. Also gets Jonathan Gonzalez here today. I mean, there are just so much upside relative to the rest of the field. I like Bahama Halo.
Well, we just showed you that the replay there, and the number 6 Devilish Romance proves she can compete with this caliber competition. When she stepped up from her 50 maiden score on the grass, she was second in that race in front of Bahama Hello in that aforementioned Our Dear Peggy. Stanley Gold has Eddie Castro, and this horse looked like he wasn't going to be second and fought back, so it was a pretty game performance. So both of these horses coming out of that race, but my estimation is that Bahama Hello, and even earlier on that race, never really had a clean trip, and I think that horse is certainly the one to beat. But I did use Devilish Romance in second.
I used Devilish Romance as well. I used Backstage in second. Backstage was 6 behind these horses. Beat Bella Vincenza 2 starts ago, so I needed to put Backstage above Bella Vincenza. And then Devilish Romance completed my ticket. We have the same 4, just in a different order.
Yeah, we're thinking alike today, which is very, very scary. So let's go to race number 4, and I know we don't agree here.
You like horse. You like Daddy Duke earlier in the week, and this is almost as strong an opinion as I had on Daddy Duke. Unknown will not win.
Okay. this race. Let me give the conditions first and then tell us why Unknown will not win. This one, 5 1/2 furlongs. Claimers, fillies, and mares 3 and up, $6,250. No scratches. Once again, not many scratches on today's card. I did, though, with Unknown, but far be it from me to say anything about it. Let's hear from Pete first.
No, go ahead. I want you to paint the picture of why you like her, and then I'm going to tear you down.
Okay. Shorting up to 5 1/2 furlongs after posting back-to-back victories at 3/4 of a mile, which includes that 2-length score over this track last time out. Gustavo Delgado, Edgar Zayas in the saddle. What has this horse done so wrong that you can't stand it?
You just said it.
What?
Edgar Zayas in the saddle. Now, listen. Edgar Zayas is a friend of mine. I'm not poking fun at Edgar Zayas. I was talking to Victor Sanchez, our clerk of scales, earlier. I want you to look at something. If you're watching this race, this telecast, look at this and tell me that this is not a pattern. Unknown has won 4 of her last 5 races. That is true. But there's also something true about those 4 victories that are not true of anything else. Tyler Gaffleone has the key to this filly. When Tyler Gaffleone is riding her, she's a completely different racehorse, much the same as Cornelio Velasquez riding Defying Gravity. Zayas rode this filly 3 back. She was beaten 18 lengths behind 2 other horses who race in this race. Now you say, okay, Pete, as you told me earlier in the week, once is a coincidence, twice is a pattern. Fine. Go back to the last time somebody other than Tyler Gaffleone rode Unknown. She was 5th, beaten 9 lengths at 3-2. It's just my opinion. Tyler's the guy who gets along with his filly. Can Edgar get along with her? Maybe, but based on what happened before, he didn't.
Tyler Gaffleone not riding today. If you're wondering why he's not jumping back on this horse, he will not be riding this afternoon here at Gulfstream Park West. Very rarely would I use a jockey angle to, like a horse and not like a horse.
Well,
now,
wait, we didn't earlier in the week. I mean, she came out, but we didn't like Defying Gravity for the same reason.
Well, I didn't say it was for that reason, did I?
You did.
No, I did not. Well, Edgar Zayas is the second top. You could argue who's the best rider here between
true.
3 or 4 guys. So I'm not putting much stock in that. But Pete, that's why we differ. I went with the 5 Breach of Duty in second, a winner at this level and distance at Gulfstream Park at September 4th. Drops, made a middle move, faded in a 10-starter optional claimer going 3/4. Michael Morrison got 7-pound apprentice Alvaro Doniz in there. But you went with the number 6, so High Rapid Lady, who I don't have anywhere on my ticket, so tell me why.
Why not? She beat Unknown by 18 lengths in their 3 starts ago. Now, Unknown has come back to beat High Rapid Lady a couple of times, including a 3-length defeat last time out. Breach of Duty has beat High Rapid Lady as well. Rider switch to Josie Gomez. This horse will be a nice price. If I'm right about Unknown, I have to pick a nice price, so I will. I'll pick the 6 on top.
Well, we both put the 2 in 4th, just out there. Our girl, she's gone. I do not like this horse today. I mean, figures to grab a share there on the ticket. I just 56-1 last time out. It surprised everybody last time.
Well, an Unknown beater, so can we go a little, I don't know.
Well, let's take a short break, and let's see what comes back. It's unknown what's going to happen for the last 5 or 6 races on this card.
Next January, 12 horses, $1 million buy-in for a $12 million purse. It is the world's richest race. It is the Pegasus World Cup.
We're back for race number 5. He's still talking about Unknown, even when we were off the air. This one, a mile in the 16th on the turf. Claimers, fillies, and mares, non-winners of 2 in life or 3-year-olds, $30,000 to $25,000. Jockey on the 6 is Jose A. Garcia. Scratch the main track, only number 10, Untrue. This is where the Rainbow Six ticket starts, or the Rainbow Six play starts. I'm going to show you my ticket right now, and you're going to see my single right here in the first leg, and that's Andrea's Reward, who we'll talk about. 3 deep, 3, 2, 4, and 4 for a $57.60 ticket. Andrea's Reward. This horse, I got to go back and show you performance last time of Andrea's Reward when we come back. And this one is stretching out to 1 mile and a 16. Encountered a lot of trouble on the first turn. When we get the key this up, you're going to see Pete. And in this race here, you said, actually, you were calling the race. You'll see it right now. And you said, totally stopped in here is what you had. The comment was, and you'll see the number 6 totally gets stopped there. Now, we're going to switch ahead to the stretch. And she ducks to the inside. And I think she runs really well in here. And you had said a couple of times else in the race, she got stopped again, So she had a tough trip all the way around. There she is on the inside. She's the number 6 here. And this one just classes up beautifully against non-winners of 2 lifetime or 3-year-olds. I mean, this one was in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. They put her in. So I just think this is the logical spot with the clean trip. Andrea's Reward. If you follow me, you know it's one of my favorite horses.
Well, I agree with everything you said. I'm not cutting down or knocking anything there. I'll play devil's advocate, though. Andrea's Reward is a horse that doesn't have much of a turn of speed. You saw that in the backtrack. She doesn't motor once she gets clear. She just kind of grinds away at a high cruising speed. Will that work over this turf course? I wasn't so sure. She's going to be heavily favored. I'm going to try to beat her.
Well, we'll see how that works out. So that's my single in there. You saw my ticket. You did go with the number 7 in here. And yes, Ms. Zada, it's on my ticket, too. I mean, I had to find that single so I can go deeper, but I can understand you having the 7 on top of your ticket.
Yeah, and I understand why you had to single the horse in this race. I'm not knocking the single. I wonder if I can't get her beat. Yes, Miss Ada coming in with the rider switch to Matt Rispoli. The blinkers go on. I think those two things put into consideration means that speed will be her weapon of choice. She'll be forwardly placed against a field of horses like Andrea's Reward that don't have that flashy turn of speed. So if I can get in front of Andrea's Reward early, I'm going to try to beat her.
At number 9, High Heeled is stretching out an additional 1/16 of a mile today after closing and finished 5th behind Andrea's Reward. That was going at 8 furlongs last time out. Dave Brady, MSCL Jaramillo, going to handle the stretch out distance today.
I am a kind of I don't want to call myself stupid, but it is kind of silly when you look at High Heeled versus Andrea's Reward. High Heeled's never got close to Andrea's Reward.
Right.
Why? I should have probably flip-flopped my 2nd and 4th picks there.
Yeah, well, I would think that Andrea's Reward with a clean trip is going to get the job done, but that's the beauty of horse racing. Now, race number 6 this afternoon, 6 1/2 furlongs on the fast main track maiden claimers. 2-year-olds, 12-5, 8 in the field. How'd you see it? I went to the inside with the number 1 Twice Oak. You went with the number 7 in here, and tell us why.
Antonio Sano.
Oh,
that's why.
That's it.
Antonio Sano, 2nd start of the career. Source was nowhere and didn't take any money doing it, but now takes a drop in class. That race came back to be okay. Akono ran well on the step up in class. The 3rd place horse, Vivid Image, won on Thursday afternoon. So Senor Boracano, I think that race is so bad that I can throw it out and hope that he can run a lot better today, because of the horses that have raced, there's really not much to go on. I'm not a fan of your horse at all.
Twice Oaked.
Yeah.
This one is dropping to this 12-5 level, turning back to a sprint on the dirt after dueling for lead, tiring to finish 5th when facing 25 types, going 7 on the turf, speed on the grass, going back. I just thought this was a logical contender in that. He's his 2nd choice on the morning line. So, me, I'm always a sucker for a turf to dirt, showing some speed and turning back, going long. So, Twice Oaked on top of my ticket. I went deeper in here, as you saw in my ticket. So, because I think it's a wide open affair. Did not use the 7, but in 2nd, you have a horse I do have on my ticket, but in the bottom part, and that's Major K.
Major Key is another horse taking a big drop in class, stretching out to 6 1/2 furlongs. His race and the debut side of things was a lot better than my top play, but the logic is the same for both. These are 2-year-olds. We need them to take major step forward in their 2nd start versus their 1st start, but there are some things to like with both of them. Jonathan Gonzalez has the call here today. This horse did take some money in the career unveiling. Something had to have gone amiss, but has come back to work well. 1/2 mile and 49 just the other day. I think this horse might come back ready to roll. He'll be overlooked at the windows. Both of those horses will be, because they ran so bad first time.
Let Number 3, Zarman, is a gelded son of Tapazard by Tapit, debuting for Wesley Ward. Lots of morning workouts showing in preparation for this assignment. Going to get Lasix, going to get the 7-pound apprentice, Carlos Hernandez. And it's a Wesley Ward. I'm expecting this horse to run well. Does he win? I don't know, but I think he can be on the ticket.
I would have liked to have had one of your first or last start in the last 6.5 centuries or something, the stats you come up with.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what Wesley Ward is first time at 6.5 furlongs at a maiden $12,000 level. I'd have to imagine the strike rate there is pretty low.
Yeah.
Because if he is going to win at 12.5, I don't think it's going to be at 6.5, at least not in my opinion. But given the fact that I just don't like anybody else who's raced, I used him on my ticket as well.
Well, I'll go back and find that stat when I come back later on this afternoon. I'll let you know. 6.5 furlongs. Let's go to race number 7. Our final 4 races on the card. So guess what? It's the late pick 4. 1 mile on the turf, maiden special weight, fillies, 2-year-olds, scratch the 11. Take it over. Who do you like?
I like the 5 horse in here, Magali, and we'll take a look at why. This is a filly that's making her turf debut. She is no stranger to the 1-mile trip, though, as she debuted going a mile, and she had a tough run of it early on in here. I thought it was a very, very good debut by a horse who had a lot of reasons to just throw out the anchor. She gets nailed at the start and shuffled all the way back to last. Carlos Olivero is then going to rush her up. She was last, rushed up to take the lead, battled on the inside. The winner of that race is on the far outside, Grand Cherry. She's odds on, but Magali actually fights back to hold off the horse that had passed her, the 2 horse in that day, Color and Colonel. The horse who won was supposed to win. She won it impressively. Magali dug in and fought on to get second. I thought it was a really, really good run in the debut. She doesn't have to run much better than that to win today.
Yeah, and she's the daughter of a Maltese dog who's by War Chance, so certainly bred to love the grass, and I agree. Got that one on my ticket, but I did go with the number 6, Ivy Lovely, stretching out to a mile after a strong 5-furlong career debut in which he rallied 4 wide to come within a neck of winning. This is a daughter of Dialed In, and I want to go back and show you a stat from, this trainer here from Ronnie Werner over the last 5 years with horses stretching out from a sprint to a route on the turf. He's 5 for 38. He's only 13%, 34% in the money, $1.02 ROI. So not outstanding numbers with this particular move. So I had put the horse on top. Then I saw the stat. Did I change? No, but I'm using the 6 and the 5 on my ticket.
Well, the useless trivia for the day is this horse's mother, Dat You Miss Blue, was a New York bred superstar who ran primarily on the main track and primarily in sprints. But that's not the trivia. The trivia is she was trained by our own Billy Badgett.
Oh, trained by Billy Badgett. There you go. So good trivia right there. I closed it out with the 10 in here already packed. A daughter of More Than Ready is going back to the grass after stalking the pace, finishing 4th. It was a maiden special weight going a mile on the main track last time out, a 1-turn mile. Dane Kabisky is going to team up with Jackie Roberto Alvarado Jr. Going to change surfaces today. I thought, the horse would run well, at least has a chance breeding-wise to run well in this spot.
Well, thank you for that segue. Another horse who, breeding-wise, has a chance to run well in this spot is the horse on the rail, number 1, Ryomar. She was an even 4th in her debut. She takes the blinkers off in an effort to relax her. She also gets a Misael Jaramillo on board for the first time. She's a half to Bob's pinup girl who made over $400,000. But not only that, she did that racing long and a lot of times over the turf.
So a couple of breeding angles there in race number 7, another wide open affair. 8th race today, 5.5 furlongs, maiden claim is 3 and up, 10,000. Full field of 11 runners in here, and let's see, who'd you go with on top?
We have the same top 3. Oh, so we have the same. There we go.
Oh, look at this, same top 4. Well, I'll talk about Saratoga Prime, and you could take Blackjack Baby. This one is dropping to the $10,000 level on the main track. Returned from a 2-month layup, went up, set the pace, faded. It was a 25 maiden going a mile in the 16th on the Mama turf. Eddie Plesa Jr., Edgar Zayas handling the combination drop-down surface switch. Boy, has this barn been going good with the horses they brought here.
Speed is our weapon of choice. Not much in here in that department in this race. This horse appears to have a pretty good chance to win in his South Florida debut, which, as you know, is usually an angle I play against.
Yeah, and I went with the 2 in here. Now, number 8, Blackjack Baby. I know you wanted to go back and revisit his performance.
Yeah, let's revisit his performance. Let's set the stage for you before we do that. This was a debut run going long on the grass. Sources by Lonhro, Australian sire. They paid $40,000 for him. They debuted him for $20,000. Now, in my opinion, this horse has just completely had his mind blown with about 1/8 of a mile into the race. You can see right at the start of the race, he shifts ground and has to take back. and then it's going to happen again. He's tugging, wants to do some work, and then he's going to have to tap on the brakes. He's very green. He shifts his ground. See? Then has to go back to the outside. Cornelio tried to put him behind horses. He didn't want to do that. He was kind of unruly in the early stages, and from there he's just tugging. He can't go anywhere, so he doesn't do any running. Now we drop into the $10,000 level. We try dirt. We try sprinting. There's a lot of room to improve, I think.
And same thing with the number 10, Eric's Talisman. This one is one of another horses there trying to sprint distance on the dirt after finishing second in a $20,000 maiden event, going a mile on the grass. When you first look at it, you think it's a grass race, and then you realize a lot of horses trying something different this afternoon.
They claimed Eric's Talisman last year at this meeting for $50,000. All I can say to that is whoops.
Whoops.
I mean, he's made checks, but I don't think they thought they would be in for maiden 10 a year later.
Well, let's go to race number 9. He's got jockeys mad at him, trainers mad at him, owners mad at him. Let's keep it going with the 9th race. 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Claimers, fillies and mares, 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in life, $8,000. Scratch the number 11 horse, and it's Pete's mantra, make big money, and that's the number 11 horse in here is scratched out of the race. I went with the 9, Zips Legacy. You do not have this one on your ticket. Stepping up to the next logical level after drawing away one impressively walloped the field of 12-5 maidens going a mile on the turf. Won that race by 5.5 lengths. Mark Cassie, Lane Luzzy going for 2 in a row. I don't see any reason why this horse can't repeat. I know it's last was a maiden win, but if you notice the races the last couple of days, a lot of maidens last out have been coming right back and winning their 2 lifetime condition.
I guess so, but I think the difference is this horse beat a soft, S-O-F-T soft. I won't spell it the other way for the WWE fans in the audience. And she got beat at 2-5 2 starts ago. So she has a tendency of taking a lot of money and not delivering on promises. She's been a beaten favorite in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of her last 6 races.
Yeah, but I just think this is the spot here that she can get the job done after that performance. Seemed they found things. You left it off. You did go with the number 5 in here, Dancing Wind, who's stretching out around 2 turns today.
Yeah, first of all, you threw me under the bus with Edgar Zayas. I don't think he's mad at me. In fact, I think he's going to win this race. Now, she is stretching out to a distance that she has done a lot better work at. I don't think she has enough tactical speed to stay close when she runs 5/8 over the grass. 7.5 furlongs should be a pretty good spot for her. She ran very well 2 starts ago behind a repeat winner in Patient Digna. All she has to do is run that race 2, 3, and 4 back. I think she wins here.
Well, the number 8, Saratoga Ransom, who does her best running from off the pace, should be in the be able to reap the spoils if Zips Legacy. If we don't think this horse fans to handle its first outing against winners today, Dave Casson, Eddie Castro in the saddles. Maybe this one sits the trip.
Absolutely a must-use. You see her, she's on my ticket. I think another horse that's a must-use at a nice price is number 6, To Chief Source. Draw a line through her last race and go 2 back. That was a pretty good run. She does have the propensity to close ground, and I think she'll trip out pretty well.
Yeah, and at the last race, she broke a maiden, didn't run well the last time, but it was a key race. A couple of horses come out and win their next start. Now got that one race against winners, comes back. Got that one on my ticket, too, for all the reasons you mentioned, and actually is my long shot play today in the program.
All right, so we actually agree there. That's great.
Race number 10 this afternoon. Our final race of the week, 7.5 furlongs. These are maiden claiming 2-year-olds. We're going to scratch the 8, 12, 13, 14, and 15, and please mark down that the number 11 is getting in and running. That's Yo No Say. Yo No See?
No, Yo No Say. I don't know.
Say. Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I know. That's
well, I
what
know
it
this
means.
one got in.
Yeah.
So how'd you see it?
I think he wins. If you go back and watch Yo No Say's debut run, of course, we don't have the luxury of knowing he's going to draw in.
Right.
So the last thing we want to do is to go to the trouble of going and getting you a replay on a horse that's not going to run. I did that over the winter. I mean, over the summertime. This horse was favored on debut and really didn't realize what he was supposed to do until very late in the game. Came a very, very fast closing second behind Get a Valentine. I think all he has to do is take a logical progression in the second start, and he wins. He was so impressive on the gallop out last time.
And ridden today by Edgar Zayas, so you can see where he's going with that. But this one, he dropped back and then came running.
But Edgar's mad at me, I thought.
Well, he had a choice here because there's a jockey change in the 4, Jonathan Gonzalez. He had probably got first call on this one. Jonathan Gonzalez will ride the number 4, Chasing the Stars. But I did keep the number 2 on top. Randy Sr.'s debuting on the turf for the red-hot Kathleen O'Connell barn after a couple, I thought, solid performances against this same caliber of competition on the dirt, including including that recent second-place finish going a mile across town. It's a son of Revolving. That's by AP Indy. So there is turf breeding here in this barn. Every horse that Kathleen brings up not only runs well, looks fantastic.
Well, he has a big run-out blinker, and that's the reason I didn't pick him. I don't know how he'll handle the turf turns. He should be a big factor in this race. But I guess maybe I'm getting a little bullish after my $110 winner earlier. I'm trying to pick prices in all of the races. So I'll use the 4 Chasing the Stars second. Gets around 2 turns for the first time. Monty Thomas, the trainer, that should explain why he's on my ticket.
And number 5, I'm a handsome dude, and I didn't mean that at all in any way. He's debuting locally on the turf after a couple of solid sprints on the Arlington Park synthetic surface. The trainer is Armando de la Cerda. Has MASL Jaramillo in the saddle. How's that for a mouthful? Now this horse, you don't know how it's going to translate from the poly to the turf here today. Ran good on the poly.
Yeah, and you also don't know how the form is going to translate coming in from Chicago here to South Florida. One thing I do know is trainer Armando de la Cerda is a very, very good horse trainer.
And he's probably very happy that the Chicago Cubs won the pennant last night.
I know there's at least one person in the Jockstream that's on StubHub right now.
Trying to get some tickets. So that's it. That's how we see Sunday's action, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's an absolutely beautiful day here.
Well, thank you for giving me some time to apologize to anybody that I may have offended. Since you think I've offended everybody on the earth, I'll be interested to see. I'm going to go in the Jockstream right now and see if I get pelted with any tomatoes. Those guys know it's nothing personal.
Yeah, I'm not going in with them. Good luck, everybody.
What do I love about horse racing? Everything.